This episode of Lady Gang is brought to you by Beam Organics CBD. Get 35% off your first month at beamorganics.com/LadyGang. That's Beam, BEAM, organics.com/LadyGang.
This episode of Lady Gang is brought to you by Olive and June. Your new nail life is here. Get 20% off your first Mani system when you use promo code LadyGang at oliveandjune.com.
Welcome to the Lady Gang. You're about to listen to our podcast, but there is so much more our community has to offer. Follow us at the Lady Gang, join our secret Facebook group, shop our clothing line, books, and find out when we're going to be in your city at theladygang.com. We're so excited you're here. Enjoy the show.
Well, what is this?
Welcome to the Lady Gang.
That's amazing. Say that again.
The Lady Gang.
Things are about to change around here.
Each week we catch up with Hollywood's hottest girl posse. Keltie Knight, Becca Tobin, and Jack Vanek.
Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to the Lady Gang. I am Becca Tobin here with Jack Vanek and Keltie Knight.
I put on lashes.
No,
I know.
why do you have a full face of makeup on right now?
Because I have felt so ugly in my real life that I didn't want to look at myself on Zoom for 4 hours today being super ugly. And I had a lash on from something I did earlier this week and my lashes last a few days. So I put a blush on and then I got this like little lip oil. This is Elf Ride or Die lip balm. And I put it on. It's giving me, and then my hair is just gross. So I just,
No, you look great.
And you're in the Lady Gang
shower curtain.
No, the Lady Gang set.
I'm wearing the Lady Gang set. I love it so much. I have such a fun story about the set. So, my girlfriend, Nicole Schumann, is a Rockette, and she's on her way to New York City. The Rockettes are starting rehearsal, and she was like, I'm going to get the rest set. Cause she had the black one from before and she got it. And then she put a picture on her Instagram, and then her whole dressing room of Rockettes, like, all ordered the set. So they're all going to be like in New York City at Christmas in the set, but it's like the perfect in between show set. I love this color because I feel like I look beautiful in this color.
Everybody looks good in a rust.
Yeah. I hope they send us a picture, the Rockettes.
And like doing a kick or something.
Yeah. In a kick line.
Well, thank you for influencing,
I'm just,
that could have been your good week, but I'm sure you have a really good one.
I do.
It's time for
Good week.
Yes, it is.
Bad week. Oh, no.
I'll start.
Okay.
I was flying here. This was a couple weeks ago. I was flying to Vancouver. And I was sitting like the row behind and across the aisle from someone. So I could see what they were doing on their phone the entire fucking flight.
Love it.
And this person spent at least an hour looking at pictures of themselves.
Was it a famous?
Like on Instagram or in their phone app?
Their phone roll. And they were scrolling and scrolling and obviously trying to pick something for Instagram, and they had been at something and it looked like an event, like she had been in a dress and like a wedding or something. And then I see her open up the Facetune app and she starts Facetuning the out of her picture. And then here's what's really good. She gets on her Instagram and I'm like, that looks familiar. I could not see this person's face. And then I did some detective work and I realized I was sitting behind a famous actress. And this famous actress was Facetuning all of her photos.
Oh my God.
A couple days later, she posts the photo I saw her Facetuning. And I have a video I took of her Facetuning the picture that I was sending just internally to my girlfriend. Because I was like, oh my God, we're all such monsters. Look at us. And I was just like, look at this girl. But I didn't know at the time I was filming her that she was famous. And anyways, be careful what you're looking at, people. It's not real.
Well, yes. Also, everybody needs to get those like screen protector things that you can't see unless you're looking at it right in front of you.
Yeah. It was so ballsy of her.
Is she an actress?
Like what level of fame?
No. Also, what level of fame? Also, is she somebody that is known for Facetuning their photos? Because in all those like Instagram versus reality, it's always like the same.
No, she's not known for that. She is
A-list or B-list?
Well, she's TV famous. So she's not a movie star, but she's TV famous.
Would I know who she is?
Probably.
Okay.
Oh, so she's famous.
She's famous, like pretty famous. So I was like, God, I could really blow up your spot right now, but I'm not going to do that because you know what? It's the pressure of Hollywood and society
You
that's
understand.
placing upon us.
You
I
understand.
feel you, girl.
It's not her fault. Yeah,
I feel
it's
you, girl.
society's fault.
But also, anyone out there, you should probably be more careful. Or like Jack's saying, get a screen protector because
Yep.
it was so I'm like, that is...
I always thought it was so weird. When I was at CBS and the travel woman, Jane, I would go up to like book a flight with her and like she'd help me pick out the flight. She had the screen protector on her like desktop. And I was like, who like...
What are you doing over here?
porn.
Well, I was like, this is so annoying because I'm standing beside her desk trying to like pick my flight, but I can't see unless I'm like her head. And I was like, this is so stupid. And I always thought they were really stupid, but now I see that they could be useful, the screen protectors.
I think it's
No.
amazing.
I think everybody just also needs to be aware of if you are in an aisle seat on a plane, somebody behind you is looking at what you're doing on your phone. So
1000%.
just be aware. I always do. Every single flight, I'm like, ooh, what's that person doing?
Then I had paranoia about the guy behind me across the aisle watching me watch someone else for like an hour or more. I had this fear when I realized that she was famous hours in. And then I was like, oh my God, this guy is probably going to like get off the plane and say to her, just so you know, that girl was watching you on your phone the entire
And filming you.
She was filming you. I mean, that's not a bad fear.
Okay, so here's my bad week. I went out last night because one of my best friends is in Vancouver and I've been shooting for like 2 weeks straight, not really having any time off. And I haven't had a single sip of alcohol in over 2 weeks.
Damn.
Because when I'm living by myself and I'm just going to work every day.
You're in work mode. Yeah, you're in work mode.
So I went out last night. I had so much to drink, but now today I feel like garbage. Like I'm considering the fact that I may never need to drink again.
That's how I always feel the morning after a drink. And then I always drink more tequila.
Well, yeah, I always do that. And I'm like, you know, it would make me feel better as another drink at this moment. So that's
never
how the
helped
cycle
me.
starts.
I
love
love so badly that helped me.
Oh my
I
God.
love that we're up early. It's a Sunday morning. Like you went out on a Saturday night and knew that like you're so busy working that we're podcasting on Sunday AMs now. Like before,
Which is good for no one. This is good for no one.
Good for
but
no
like
one.
we're making it work. And like it was you're the reason that we're doing 8 a.m. on a Sunday morning.
And you're the one that went out.
But here's the thing. I didn't select 8 a.m.
You're right.
Like,
You're right.
I didn't select 8 a.m.
choice.
Also, I had no choice. My friend is here and we don't get to see each other a lot. And I'm
You
like,
had no choice.
I had no choice.
No
I've
choice
been
but to party.
antisocial this whole time I've been here. I had to go. Did I have to drink as much as I did? No. But I
You know
did.
what?
You do you. You know what, honey? She's booked and busy. You have the freedom to live your life.
Now I have the hangover diarrhea.
Oh, I love a diarrhea. Okay, Jack.
So my good week is I wanted to give everybody an update about my pillow travel situation.
Yes.
I did bring my pillow on my trip. I did pack it in my suitcase. Thanks,
God.
guys, for
You're
the
welcome.
hot tip. And it has been a game changer. So I highly recommend everybody doing it. But now packing it in your suitcase, it's right here behind me. I'm
can
sitting
see that.
against it. I got to find a better way. So if anybody out there listening has a better way to pack their pillow because it takes up a lot of room. Like,
I've been
do I
thinking
need
about
it-
you so much, Jack. I have an idea for a project.
Oh, do we need to do like a vacuum sealed situation?
Yes. Okay. So real story is Jack brought her pillow to fucking New York when we were in New York a few weeks ago. And then we got all these clothes delivered. And then she was like, can you send them home? And I was like, yeah, I'm going to send a box. I didn't send a box. I just shoved more clothes in my suitcase and like literally thought it was going to explode. But anyway, I thought about you so much. Jack.
Those nice leather things that we have that are
They're
gonna be
all just like
up from being
crinkled. Yeah.
crinkled. Yeah.
Okay. But listen, I thought about this so much. Okay. So, you know, when you get like a molecule or a purple mattress and it comes wound up
Yes.
and it's tiny and then then I thought the space bag. okay, so you know the space bags that you can roll your clothes and you can fit so much more. So what if we created a pillow that had a space bag attachment and you rolled it and it flattened really, really low. And then when you got to your destination,
I love this.
It like explodes out.
I love this.
I don't think that's going to work because
why?
Because Jack, it couldn't work for me because I like a big firm pillow, but Jack likes a flatty pillow. If you're a flatty, I think a space bag could work. I'm going to actually try this today with my space bag and a flatty pillow from my spare bedroom, and I'll report back.
Well, because the pillow itself doesn't weigh a lot. It just takes up a lot of room. And I have an issue that I always overpack no matter what. Every time I go on a trip, it's like the first time I've ever traveled. I overpack. My suitcase going to my trip was 80 pounds. 80.
Gross.
That's 30 pounds overweight just because I could keep throwing shit in my suitcase.
That's insane. So, how do you even,
insane.
How, like, also you're that annoying girl on the bus. Like, where did you even put that suitcase?
What? It's just like a checked suitcase.
No, it's underneath the bus.
Oh yeah. Well, Jared had to sacrifice.
Yeah.
Like usual.
Exactly. You asshole. Okay.
It was the whole thing. Okay. So anyways, if anybody has any tips, or Keltie might have an invention.
We might be, as seen on TV, Shark Tankers very soon.
That's right. QVC. So my bad week is we just posted. So we're doing our collaboration with Salt, the menstrual cup company, with all of our LadyGang
wearing one
clothes.
right now.
Amazing.
Inside me at this moment.
And we took this like beautiful photo shoot with us, like doing all this different stuff with the cups. It's so cute. The pictures turned out amazing. And we posted one of the pictures the other day, and there's all these comments being like, you guys are so pretty, blah, 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 blah. Number one, the picture, there are cups in front of Becca and my faces. Keltie's face is nice front and center, no cups covering it. I wonder who picked the pictures. Anyways, somebody commented, Paige commented, for reals, Keltie keeps looking hotter in every photo. I'd say she looks younger than Jack.
I saw
Not
this.
younger than the other girls, but just younger than Jack.
What?
So I'm so glad that
you're the youngest.
Yeah, I think that's why.
But I'm a year younger than Becca. It's not like I'm like super, I mean, maybe I look really young, but I'm really glad that a Keltie compliment comes at my demise.
You know what? That's fucking mean, Paige. And we helped you with your burrito. Like, this is dub, Paige.
This is Paige, the burrito girl. I love
really like you owe us. But secondly, I want to tell just the whole world before I get canceled for the cup in your faces photo. We only got, when you throw something in the air, it's hard to get a photo.
Oh yeah.
So there was only 2 photos where the cups actually ended up in front of our faces. And one of them is, we're going to still use it. We're using them both. The one you saw was the better of the other ones. The other ones are like totally terrible. So this was the best of the shots that we got. It just happened that I looked absolutely stunning in this photo. But the reason, Paige, that I look so beautiful in that photo is that it was right after I went to France, and I was the happiest I'd ever been in my life and had so much wonderful orgasmic sex and was flying on that private jet and eating expensive food. So like, I was beautiful inside and out. I now look nothing like that girl, but she was gorgeous.
She was gorgeous.
Have such like... I can't tell you, like, your highs are so high and your lows are so low, and they happen in the speed of light.
I know. She never can just live like
never
in the middle.
No, never in the middle.
I'm like, I can't even think of a time I was like so happy or even like so shitty. I'm just sort of existing.
No, same. That's why we need Keltie, because you and I are way too even keeled.
Yeah. It would be such a boring show without me. Actually, I'm so glad you brought this up, because this is my good week and bad week.
Okay.
So I had an absolute low. So my bad week is I had a huge career disappointment, and like massive. And I can't share it yet, but at some point I will. But I had something really great happening, and then it went to absolute shit. And so I drank an entire bottle of really cheap gas station disgusting wine by myself in my unrenovated bedroom at like 9 p.m. While I had 2 house guests, and Chris sat across from me, and he's learned after all these years that like, I don't want him to fix things. I just want him to listen. So I just got drunk and just started yelling like, but I still want to be a star over and over again. And was just wasted, was crying, was like the worst version of myself. And he's like, it's going to be okay. I was like, it's not going to be okay. Like I fucking lost it. So when you talk about that low, like I just, you know, like the disappointment station, I'm really fucking sad. I just feel so hopeless. And I'm in that moment where everything that we've accomplished as LadyGang, I don't know if this happens to you guys, but we've accomplished so much. Like the fact that we still have this podcast and these amazing partners and go all over and have fans and like can write books and like, this is amazing. This is anyone's Hollywood dream. But I'm like, it's meaningless. Like I want this sparkly thing over here. And if I can't have that outer space sparkle on Mars,
the grass is greener.
I mean, always. So I'm just like so low. So that was my bad week. I had an absolute meltdown, drank a whole bottle of wine, was hungover for like 3 days, just pathetic, like nasty, awful. But here's the good week. So I'm laying in bed, absolutely wasted. Chris Knight is looking at me like, you're an alien. I don't know how to fix you. And I also had spent a lot of the day painting doors because when I get upset, you guys know I clean or renovate. So I had painted my closet doors, and I'm the messiest painter in the world. No one should let me paint anything. It's my worst project. And the paint is dripping everywhere and it's all over the floor. And then I'm walking on it, but my floor is white too. So who cares? So I'm in bed. And Chris is like, he's just petting me and he's like, it's okay, babe. It's okay. And I'm like, oh, okay. He goes to the bathroom and he grabs a wet face cloth and he comes back to bed, and one at a time, he picks up my feet and he starts cleaning the bottom of my feet, and he's cleaning all the paint off my feet and the dirt from like how I was such a mess. He's like, you can't go to bed with these dirty feet. And he's like wiping them and cleaning them. And then I just started like bawling because it was at this point where like I had been taking care of everyone else around me for so many weeks and like had not been taking care of myself. Clearly was not my best self, but like it was such a sweet, selfless moment that I just like leaned back and let him like take care of me. It was so sweet. And he's just like so special. And isn't that like the sweetest thing?
You've the sweetest husband ever.
He really is just such a fucking gem. Like what a gem of a guy.
He's just white. He's just like noticing that my feet are dirty. He doesn't want me to go to bed with these like dirty ass feet. He knows I can't shower. I'm wasted. You know, it's just like it was so thoughtful.
Yeah, that's so sweet.
And you're such a fucking tornado.
Tornado. And I'm fucking crying. I'm drunk. I got paint all over my feet. The doors are taped up. Like there's people in my house. Like I'm yelling. Like
who's in your house, by the way, while you're yelling?
Well, I had my friend Allie. She was filming a movie, so she was staying. And like people,
did they hear you scream, "I want to be a star"?
I don't think she was home because she didn't get home till like 2 a.m. because they were filming and stuff. But like, yeah, I mean, it was just embarrassing. Like when I get really sad, I start like spewing out the stuff that I won't even tell you guys, like the real, like deep seated, like emotional stuff. And I was just like, this poor man, he's a poor man. And he has so many people to fix. Like his whole life is just fixing adult children.
Yeah.
And like people, like adult stars that are insecure and have their own shit. And like, I'm like,
you married one.
I could just be a great part of your life, but I'm not. I'm like just another fucking problem you have to fix. That's like so
just
insecure.
Another client.
Just another client in the nighttime world.
Desperate to be a star.
Desperate to be a star.
They say the truth comes out when you're drunk, and I think to some extent it does, I don't think so. I think sometimes I'm like the world's biggest liar. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, Jared, the only time Jared and I ever fight is when we're drunk, and it's always about the dumbest shit that when I'm sober, I'm like, why did I do that? Like, why did I care about this thing? So and it was definitely not from like some deep seated place of like honesty. It's like, I'm drunk and pissed off and a fucking bitch. So I'm going to start this fight about nothing.
Yeah. Yeah. The things I want to say it's like a subconscious, like maybe that's really what's deep down in there, but it's not. It's kind of like, being, what's it called? Like you're being, something takes over your body. Like,
what's that word? Keltie's not going to know it.
What's that
Shut
word?
Up. You're a ghost?
No, abducted.
Possessed.
No.
Possessed.
Possessed. Like
Wow.
I've had times where I've been so drunk that I'm fully possessed by another spirit. It's not me.
No, absolutely not.
Well, I think that in this moment, in other past moments, I've gotten really good at living and being able to like instantly see the realism where I'm like, oh, this has been a year of a lot of career disappointments for me. And so I've been getting good at being like, I really wanted that to happen, but it's not happening. But it's okay because over here on this grass, I have all these great things in my life, and maybe things are slow for me professionally because I'm supposed to slow down and like enjoy. And I've been like kind of getting into like being a human and being alive and having time for that. So like I've been really good at being able to like realize that. And I feel like the cheap wine put all of that like hard self-therapy work that I've done and like my right mind and just went into like sad, sappy 21-year-old Keltie who's like, I just want to be a star.
Yeah.
Loser she is.
Yeah.
I can't think of a worse thing to be in the year 2021
than a star.
There's nothing worse. It's a
star?
terrible job, and I will say it is absolutely horrendous. Like last night, the morning show came out, the new season of the morning show.
Yes.
Neither of you watch it, and it's
I do watch it, but I didn't watch the new season yet.
Okay, so the new season came out. Jennifer Aniston's character is like coming back to UBA, and she's writing this memoir in the first episode, and she's talking about like how she had no life and like she's so much happier now. She's like living out in Maine and she's like so good. And then they're like, do you want to come back? And she's like, I want to come back. And I was like, no, Alex, don't come back. It's horrible there. Don't go. But there's something about it that like you just are a sucker for punishment. Like, you're
it's the
in
ego.
Vancouver. It's the ego. It's awful.
And the attention.
No, it's just for me, it's money. So
yeah.
Like I legitimately, if there was no money,
this is the way that you make your money. So you're going to take the job.
Yeah. But like, I am not a glutton for punishment in that way. If I had all the money, like that character is so confusing to me because she has the financial freedom to say no.
But you can't. It's like a bad boyfriend.
But that's what's so confusing is people who can't save themselves and they go back and they go back and they go back. It's just, I don't know what that is.
Feeding the beast.
It is. All right. When we come back, we're going to talk about our spirits.
So sometimes I really get stoked about technology because it replaces me being an annoying human being with technology. And let me explain this a little bit better. Our sponsor, WordTune, is this incredible thing. And what it does is it takes your writing and makes you smarter. That's right. It just basically rewords everything and makes you clear and concise. And that's what I've been doing my whole life. I've been sending stuff to my older sister or my best friend, Kat, who's an incredible writer. And I'm like, hey, can you go through this and make me sound smarter before I send this email to a business colleague? Hey, do I sound like an idiot? Or should I word this like this or this or this? Let me tell you this. WordTune is so awesome. It's like an AI editor sitting next to you, writing in collaboration and making you so smart. Right now, our listeners can get 50% off WordTune for teams at wordtune.com/lady. If you want to see the benefit of WordTune, you can try it for free at wordtune.com/lady. But this 50% discount is only available for a limited time and only for teams. So you might never see a discount like this again. You better go over there and get over to wordtune.com/lady.
Have you ever really sat down to think about how much you spend on getting mani-pedis every single year? It is a lot of money. And that's why I'm here to talk to you about our amazing sponsor, Olive & June, because you can do your own amazing manicures in the comfort of your own home. So Olive & June's mani system is amazing, and it's only 5 steps, and it comes with Poppy, which I'm obsessed with. It's a patented brush handle that makes it easy to paint both of your hands, because usually my left hand would look amazing, and then my right hand looked like a 5-year-old did it. And it's super affordable. The mani system comes with 6 polishes and breaks down to $2 a manicure. And you know, when you think about gel manicures that you'd get at a salon, they cost upwards of like $50. And their polish is amazing. I love it so much. And it never chips. Can you believe that? Does not chip. My nails are literally amazing and they've never looked better. So if you want to check out Olive & June, get 20% off your first mani system when you use promo code LadyGang at oliveandjune.com. We're done with the expensive bad manis. This is the new us, okay?
So I'm a big CBD enthusiast, and I was so excited to get my most recent package from our sponsor, Beam. So Beam Organics is this incredible company. And if you're needing some help getting some quality shut-eye and providing your body with sleep-promoting vitamins and minerals like melatonin, magnesium, reishi, L-theanine, and nano CBD, this is the most amazing thing to have at night. It's guilt-free, it's sleep-promoting, it's a warm cup of cacao without any artificial sweeteners or added sugar. It's so delicious. They have been tested, and anything like sketchy heavy metals and pesticides are not in there, and they are always clean and safe supplements. When you subscribe, you'll save and get a free shipping every single month, not to mention a free mug with the frother. And let me tell you something, this frother makes it all worthwhile. It's so delicious to have at nighttime. So if you want better sleep and 35% off your first month, head to beamorganics.com/LadyGang. That's Beam Organics, BEAM.com/LadyGang.
You're listening to the Lady Gang.
Hello, everyone. We're back. So today's just us, and I have a friend named John who starts every, like, when you see him, he doesn't say, "How are you?" He says, "How's your spirit?" And it's how he starts, like, your conversation. And
Cute.
I love this about him. He's a yoga instructor. And I love this about him. So I've actually, like, taken this and I started using it on Chris. And I'll be like, "How's your spirit?" And he'll be like, "My spirit is." So I thought today I would ask you, Becca, how is your spirit?
I feel like my spirit goes on pause when I'm like away doing these movies. I just sort of like compartmentalize and like have to detach, because otherwise it's too much to deal with. Too much anxiety and like stress, like Jack was saying, like just a lot is happening professionally. The Lady Gang, thanks so much for agreeing to write the second book. It's the worst decision we've ever made, except second to the first book. Also, terrible decision. But my spirit's fine. Like I'm happy. I'm super grateful every time I get an opportunity to do this. It's not lost on me. Every time I'm at work, every moment I'm at work, I am not like begrudgingly there. I'm like, I'm so happy to be here. I don't know. This is not guaranteed. Like the next one's not guaranteed. So it's always like, I'm in a very healthy place with it. I'm a little bit like jaded at the moment. Like a little bit like one of the guys I'm working with, something was going down on set, you know, a crisis or what have you. And he was trying to like problem solve and help other departments like figure things out. And I was just sitting there very calmly, and it was like all this stuff swirling around. And he was like, "Why are you so chill right now?" And I was like, "Because there's nothing I can do. Like, there's nothing I can do right now." And then I was like, well, it's a little bit of a balance between like surrendering to what is, but also a little like jaded. You know?
Do you think that they were judging you for not like being on the team and like wanting to help?
Well, for me, I'm like, I stay in my lane. I think that sometimes it's more helpful for an actor to just like exist and let everybody around you do their jobs. And sometimes actors try to like jump in and help because they think they're helping. But after all these years, I just know, I know when it's necessary and I know when it's not.
Well, you don't want to be another cook in the kitchen that doesn't need to be there.
Exactly. But it's also, I can't decide if it's like, because I just don't care or because I'm respecting everybody staying in their lane. So I don't know. I mean,
well, maybe you have to force yourself not to care. I'm
slightly apathetic, maybe.
Well, I'm apathetic in like most parts of life, but like maybe you have to like force yourself not to care because then it'll overwhelm you and then you won't be able to do your job correctly.
That's also part of it. I think that Lexapro is really helping me with that.
Let's talk about that.
Doing its job.
Yeah. Let's make this about me. So I've been on Lexapro now for like 4 months, maybe more, 4 or 5. Small dose, like 5 milligrams a day, which is like, apparently you're supposed to jump up to 10 or something, not supposed to, but, because I was getting so anxious and to the point where if I was having to travel and leave home, I would almost cancel whatever the thing was that I was going to have to do. And that's not like me. And it's not because it was anything on the other side of that trip that was going to be bad or hard or whatever. It was just like, I was so overwhelmed because everything was going on around. It was like life is swirling around and you can't catch up, and you're just like, I need everything to stop. I need to not have anything scheduled, and I need to not get on a plane, and I need to not leave my family. And so I was having those moments often where I just wanted to like literally push the eject button and just like get sucked out of my life, not die.
No. You're when I met with your therapist before I found my therapist, she said something to me, and she said, it's like your life's a treadmill and you want to step off the treadmill.
Totally.
Like you just want to like take a break.
Do you think that COVID had anything to do with that? Like, because COVID made everybody slow down so much. And then once life started going again, it was like too overwhelming.
I think that's why I had to like seek help, seek actual medication, because it was so hard. Like once things started to get back to normal and we had all that time to sort of be still, and then all these things start ramping up and you can't catch up, and you're just like, and then you let like the thoughts of everything you have to do kind of spiral. I think what this medication has allowed me to do is it's given me perspective so that I can actually say, this isn't that important right now. Like you can look at something objectively and say, this doesn't deserve my freak out right now. It's not that big. It's not that big. Like kind of be able to like bite off small pieces of life and deal with them versus like this overwhelming, daunting, just being in life and existing is too hard.
How does Lexapro, like, I mean, I've been on Prozac for 16 years, like a long time. How does it work? Is it an SSRI?
It's SSRI, I think, like a serotonin.
Yeah. It's like
So what I think is it's used a lot for like anti-anxiety and antidepressant. Let's see. Lexapro is an antidepressant, selective serotonin reuptake inhibitor used to treat anxiety in adults and major depressive disorder in adults. And what's so weird is like when I went to this woman and I was like, I think I'm just depressed. I don't know. Cause it started off as like just feeling down. But what I didn't realize is that the anxiety triggers the depression. So some people are like, I'm so anxious, and they're wound up and they can't stop. Like, it's like, you can tell they're anxious humans.
Yeah.
I was like, I never identified with that. I was like, well, I'm not really anxious because I'm just sort of like down in the dumps. But the thing making me feel down was this like overwhelming anxiety, like the duck, like the legs under the water sort of a thing. And I'm like, oh, I didn't even know that was there. So that was really interesting to find out that was actually like the cause of me feeling just down.
Do you think, like, I know that you've done all these fertility treatments over the past few years. Like, do you think that the up and down of your hormones, like in some way affected all of this? Or do you think they're completely separate?
I mean, I know that hormones are very powerful. But I don't think, from what I know of what I did, like as far as the fertility stuff, it's a very short period of time. Like it's not like it stays in your system. Yeah. I think more than anything, it's circumstantial. I think it's the combination of what the fertility stuff does to you emotionally.
Yeah.
So it's like, you're always you're in a constant state of like wanting something so bad and on this like long fucking journey, not knowing if it's going to happen, not knowing when, like just out of your control completely. So I think that was what was like more than anything emotionally.
Well, and then like think about like the whole, just like the state of like a constant anxiety, like nothing's going to give you more anxiety of the unknown of going through something like that.
Yeah, it's definitely, I think that has a lot to do with it, but it also makes me think that being a parent the thought of that is so scary because you're like, if you're anxious right now, just being yourself and dealing with yourself and 2 dogs and a husband, like how do people exist with children and not like have crushing anxiety all the time?
I don't know. I have
no idea, but I will say that I have more often than not, the people in my life that have then gone on to be moms that have the highest anxiety or the highest,
they chilled out.
It's like it gave them such a strong purpose that all of their swirling personally couldn't exist anymore. So they just like, I'm thinking about, I have so many of my friends, even Andy, our book agent, who we just saw in New York a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
Just had a baby. And like, I mean, she's just so glowing. And I'm like, are you so exhausted? Are you so, and she's like, I feel like I'm so calm.
Well, also if it's like, if you're the type of person that has that constant, like dooming anxiety, like always existing in you, that's like just like such a high level of energy, of unhealthy energy, that maybe by having something like that, like even my friend that is a super, super anxious person, when she got a dog, having something to take care of and having something to put all of that energy into, then displaces it like in your own being. So that would totally make sense for people once that they have kids, that could actually be like a calming thing.
Yeah. And also like I don't have anxiety about myself and my well-being. My sister was somebody who had a lot of like, she was very anxious about her health all the time. Yeah. Like she had a lot of scares. And so she had reason to be anxious, but yeah, it's like, because her anxiety was all about like obsessing over her own health. Once she had kids, it was kind of like took her out of her own head and focused on something else. The thing I'm scared of is that my friend just last night was telling me, he was like, no one will tell you this, but after you have kids, every day you think about them dying.
See, that's what I would think. I can't even hold somebody else's baby without thinking it's going to stop breathing. Yeah. So like, how can you deal with that every day?
Dude, when my fucking nephew came over this summer and was doing front flips into my pool, I was like, I hate this so much. You're going to knock your head out and die in my pool. Like that's a level, like, I'm sure.
I can't. I'm like, then why does everybody trick us into having kids? That sounds fucking awful.
It's the biggest con.
It's a con, long con.
Terrible. Sounds terrible. So stay tuned. I'm sure once I become a parent, my Lexapro milligram,
you're
my
gonna
dose
go to 15. You're gonna go.
That's why you have them.
So I'm not sure if you've noticed recently, but my hair has been getting so freaking long. And guess what? I've been using Nutrafol for almost 2 years now, and it has been such a game changer when it comes to growing my hair out. Because remember, I had a really, really terrible mullet in 2019, and it is gone. So Nutrafol supports healthy hair growth from within by targeting the 5 root causes of thinning, which is stress, hormones, environment, nutrition, and metabolism. And Nutrafol is physician formulated to be 100% drug-free. They use medical-grade botanicals in consistently effective dosages, so you get the most reliable results. And you can visit Nutrafol.com and take their hair wellness quiz for personalized product recommendations that are unique to your hair's needs. So you can grow thicker, healthier hair and support our show by going to Nutrafol.com and entering promo code LADY to save $15 off your first month subscription. This is their best offer anywhere, and it's only available to U.S. customers for a limited time. Plus free shipping on every order. Get $15 off at Nutrafol.com, Nutrafol.com, promo code LADY.
This episode of LadyGang is brought to you by JustWorks. Are you looking for an easier way to onboard and manage remote employees? JustWorks makes it easier for you to start, run, and grow a business. And let me tell you just how JustWorks can help your business. So basically, JustWorks employees can onboard themselves in minutes with a simple software that makes a great first impression. You can give them access to national large group health insurance plans, handle payroll, PTO requests, all in one platform. Plus, JustWorks comes with JustWorks expert 24/7 support for you and your team. You can manage benefits, run payroll, figure out out-of-state and in-state rules and regulations, health insurance plans, employments, tax regulations, requirements. If you run a small business or a medium or large business, you know that stuff really melts your brain. Find out how JustWorks can help your business by going to JustWorks.com. That's JustWorks.com for more info. Thank you for sponsoring JustWorks.com for more info. It just works. Your all-in-one HR platform for small and growing businesses. Okay, ladies, can't remember the last time you wanted sex? Oh, you've got kids in the car? I know. We'll call it ice cream. Listen, I scream, you scream. Maybe not for, ice cream. Oops. If your desire for ice cream feels, well, like a rocky road, then you are not alone. Millions of women have felt their libido melting away because of a medical condition known as hypoactive sexual desire disorder, or HSDD. But unlike brain freeze, HSDD can be treated. Maybe it's time to change the flavor of the day from not in the mood to libido renewed. So whether you're into plain vanilla or the queen of whipped cream down to the cone, or deciding between the big or the little spoon, it's time to scream for ice cream again. Visit screamforicecreamagain.com to learn more. That's screamforicecreamagain.com.
The Lady Gang.
No, I think it's really interesting, Becca, because I started on Prozac when I was a rockette, which is like that long fucking ago, because I remember you got healthcare when you got to be a rockette, and I never had American healthcare. And I was very, I've always been a little, can you imagine how nutso bananas I would be if I didn't have anything in my system?
Oh my God.
The highs were so high and the lows were so low. And so I was on it for a long time. And then I went off because I thought, I don't want to be that person that's on antidepressants my whole life. Like no one even knew, but it's like, you just, like every time you go to CVS and you fill that prescription and you know that pharmacist looking at you and they like put it across and they're like, I know what this is. Like you just feel like a fucking loser, you know? So I was like, I'm an adult now. I can do this without this. Like I'm so much of a better coping mechanism, and I'm happy marriage. Like I've got this. And I went off right before we got married. And it was awful. Like I just,
Really?
there's something missing. I don't know anything about anything, but like there's something missing in my brain where the level in which when I don't take those 15 milligrams that I have to exist is horrifically painful for me. It's painful for me to exist as that person.
How long were you off of it?
Like probably
did you
6
just
or
like
7
jump
months.
off of it, or did you wean yourself off of it?
No, I weaned myself off of it. And like with the help of the people, you know, the psychiatrist or whatever. But, that's when like were we doing LadyGang when I went to the other psychiatrist and she was like, you're bipolar?
Yeah. This was like beginning of
LadyGang.
LadyGang. Yeah.
So I went off it and I was like, I just felt awful. And then I finally was like having all these meltdowns. So I went to a new person, and like literally 7 minutes in to the meeting, she was like, well, you're bipolar. And I was like, you don't even know me. And I mean, there's always that in the back of my head because my brother's bipolar. So I'm like, oh, of course, like, you know,
genetics, yeah.
But I was more like, I just came in and sat down and cried. Like I was just so weepy and like just mania, you know? Anyway, so I was like, I don't trust this bitch, because you just know when you go to a therapist or a psychiatrist, like I can read the room. This person was highly recommended. I went and I was like, you're not my person.
Yeah.
Like if you're not going to give me more than 7 minutes before you diagnose me with like a major disorder, then you're not my person.
That's insane.
It was like so insane. And I was like, even though I was like definitely like at that moment. So anyway, I went and found someone else that I liked, and she was like, no, I don't think, like, you may have these tendencies of whatever, but like, this is maybe, and she was like, well, were you happy when you were on the Prozac? And I was like, yeah, I felt great. And she's like, well, why did you go off? And I was like, I just don't want to be a loser that was on it. And she's like, you know, a lot of people's brains, they just can't at certain points in their life, or maybe their whole life, create serotonin the way that makes it like, you know, like a vitamin, like you can't make vitamin C, or if you're anemic, you can't make iron, like the same way that you can't make the thing. I mean, I'm not a doctor, so don't quote me if I'm wrong, but she was like, you exist better at this level than this level.
Of course.
So why not just take it? And it literally, like, the way I always describe it to people is that like everything had that black and white filter on it on Instagram, like my whole life, like everything just kind of was like gray, and nothing was that bright or happy, and nothing was that sad. Like it was just kind of like, eh. And then once I took the Prozac, like it kind of sweeps away where you're like, I can see colors again. And I still feel a lot, you know, like
you're not numb.
I would hope in a way.
Well, we know.
But you know what I mean? Like I would, I mean, there's a part of me that I'm like, could this work a little better? Like, could you numb me a little fucking more, please, Prozac? But like, I just feel like I'm living a normal life, but I take this medication every morning.
Right. And that's how you should feel. And then but so much of that is just like talking about it, and you guys talking about you taking, you know, the antidepressants is only going to make other people feel more normal about doing it. because you literally went off of it because you didn't want to be a weirdo that took antidepressants.
There was such a stigma for such a long time.
There's such a stigma, and everywhere you go, like I go to get my
Everywhere.
fucking teeth cleaned, and they're like, "Are you taking any medication?" And I was like, "I'm always sitting there with these forms, being like, even when you go get a
you
facial,
have to tell them that so they don't give you medication that's going to interact that can kill you.
But they make you write it down, and you're like, I'm just trying to get my eyebrows microbladed, and I got to write that I'm on fucking Prozac on your fucking file at the Medi Spa. Like, I hate that shit. Like, you know, I mean, I don't care as much now, but yeah, you have to tell them, and then it's like, you know, you're basically sending them like a certificate that you're a delicate flower. And like, I just fucking hated that. So, you know, I care about what the world thinks of me. So I was just like, you know, but I do think it's a great thing. And I think I'm really proud of you, Becca, because you know, you were obviously struggling and you knew you were, and like to go and do that. And it's amazing. You know?
Yeah. And I think like a lot of not that anything needs justification at all, because it is what it is, but just talking with the people in my life and making the revelation that the world is moving very quickly, and our lives are moving very quickly. And like Jack pointed out, COVID and then not COVID. And like the human brain is not really, we're not catching up. Like we have not evolved to the point of being able to handle emails at our fingertips and texts at our fingertips and phone calls and traveling and being in a new time zone. Like it's crazy. But our brains are not necessarily wired for that. And so it's okay to have this moment of, I can't handle this. Like, This is not something that I can chemically handle at the moment. So it's either you have to like, and this is why I understand people just want to get off the treadmill. It's like, I don't want to play this game anymore, but I have to exist. Like it's such a shitty feeling to want to run away from your life. And I understand why people do. You know, it's like you hear these stories about people who literally just walk out of their lives. And it's, I think, largely because it's just sometimes unmanageable. Like it's just too daunting.
Totally.
And I think what's interesting about you and I to a level is like that you also do all the soul work too. And I think there's like an importance there. You know what I mean? Like this is a Band-Aid. This can help you get through this or whatever. But like, I know that you're also going to therapy and you're also like doing a lot of the soul work. So you really do want to do like a 360 of, you know, even before you decided to make this change, like you were doing that work. So it's like, you knew yourself well enough to be like, hey, I'm doing all the things I'm supposed to do and I'm still feeling this way. And so maybe there's like something else
You're not
missing.
just trying to put a Band-Aid on it.
But I do agree. I think we're not alone in just wanting to take a break. And then what's interesting now is that like when you do want to take a break from your life, you have to tell everyone. You have to be like, I'm taking a social media break. I'm taking a work break. I'm taking a, like right before this, I think had happened, Becca was like, hey guys, I'm like going to take a little time off from like we were pre-taped and stuff. She's like, I'm just going to take some time away. And it's like, it's so sad that you have to be like, I need to take care of myself. So you literally have to shut off the whole world, but you're so accessible. You're so accessible that it's like, in order to actually take that time, it's like, it's impossible. It really is. Like you have to announce it to the world, you know?
And then you can't really even take it because then your emails are still there and they're
waiting for you when you get back.
And you see work things going on around you all the time. Like unless you're literally throwing your phone in the garbage can and going to Fiji and sitting on a beach by yourself. Like there is
who can afford to do that?
Yeah. There is no actually like turning it off anymore.
No, it's crazy. It's very overwhelming.
It does help though. I feel like I'm at least the type of person, I'm at like an all or nothing, but I found that because we're always like planning our breaks. Like I'm always planning when I'm going to shut it off. And it's like, I'm just going to get to this point and then I'm going to take this week vacation and really like unplug and shut it down. But the thing that's helped me a lot is just having little parts of my week where it's like, for this 2 hours, I'm going to lay in my bed, I'm going to turn on a movie, and I'm going to literally turn my phone off. And that's going to be me taking a break, like a personal moment, personal time off, like for that little moment. Like those little breaks are more important to me than like going to Fiji for a week and laying on a beach. Cause you can't schedule when you need to like rest your brain.
Isn't it crazy? Like, I thought it was so revolutionary this week when I left my phone outside in my yard and I went downstairs to my office without my phone. And I was like, I'm not going to bring it down.
Yeah.
if someone needs me, they'll find me in an hour. Like, and I just went downstairs without my phone and I was like, I'm so brave. Like, why the fuck are we at this point? Like,
No,
that's so
sad.
crazy.
But then it's like the anxiety is like programmed into us that like there's some study about kids in high school taking a test, and the kids that had their phones facing up versus facing down did so much worse on their tests because they're so worried about their phone going off or about something happening that was like consuming their mind.
Wow.
Like there's something within us that is like connected to our phones that like breeds that anxiety. So what Becca was saying, where it's like, we're not programmed for this. So all of our normal lives, like life is hard enough as it is as a baseline. And then adding this whole layer of stuff that we don't even know how to handle on top of that. It's like, no wonder why everybody's so fucked up.
Mm-hmm.
It's
well,
crazy.
on that note, thanks for joining us here at the Lady Gang. Hope you feel very next
This is really inspiring.
I listen, it is inspiring. I like us and I like you guys. And I think this was nice. So how's your spirit? Worked out just lovely.
How's your spirit?
How's your spirit? But now we have to go. It's time to go.
We'll see you next Tuesday.
See you next Tuesday.
See you next Tuesday.
Thanks for listening. The Lady Gang is produced by Alex Ingber, Steve Delameter, and Jared Monaco. Make sure you subscribe, rate, and review our podcast. And if you love it, share it with your friends on social media. Like, oh my God, I just listened to Lady Gang. This episode's so great. Swipe up to listen. And if you really want to, which we know you do, please follow us on social at Keltie, at Becca, at Jack Vanek, and at The Lady Gang. Sign up for our newsletter at theladygang.com and join our secret Facebook group. It's super fun. See you next Tuesday.
This episode of Lady Gang is brought to you by Beam Organics CBD. Get 35% off your first month at beamorganics.com/LadyGang. That's Beam, BEAM, organics.com/LadyGang.